Happy Monday morning. It's great to be back on the Stahls TV Morning Show after being out last week on vacation. I'm Josh Ellsworth.
And I'm Courtney, and it's good to have you back. Hopefully vacation was good to you.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Had a good time.
I'm tired though. I always find, usually you go on vacation, you're supposed to relax, and you're supposed to be ready to go with small children. That doesn't exactly happen, but we had an absolute blast.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
So what'd you do? Anything fun this weekend?
Oh, we had the Father's Day event. So my dad, my husband, and I went down to the U.S. Open. So if you watched it on TV yesterday, it was actually in the Pittsburgh area, which is about an hour from our Stahls TV studios. So we got to go down there. It was a nice day, really hot, really sunny. So I'm showing some effects of that today, feeling, I should say, a lot of the effects of that today. But it was a really nice day, a really great event, and it really just spoke true to what we see a lot of people doing and how they're commemorating events and what they're doing with their free time.
Yeah, lots of logoed apparel there, I presume, for the event,
absolutely.
Right?
They had a merchandise pavilion that was unbelievable. It looked like a Macy's store on the inside of how much stuff they had, even just the way they had built everything up. It was really, truly phenomenal. Yeah,
so I was at the Outer Banks, and I got to spend the week with some great sports action on TV, when we settled down from our day of activities and ended up in the room. And one thing, I don't know if they talked about it last week, but the Pens won the Stanley Cup.
Pretty big deal for us here in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, I was excited about that. So yesterday, just to sort of tie this together, I go into Dick's Sporting Goods, and we're looking for actually a basketball hoop. I got a basketball hoop for Father's Day. I'm going to put it in my driveway. Hopefully my 7-year-old daughter wants to play basketball in addition to dance. Dad's fingers are crossed.
Keep them crossed.
If not, I'll use it. But when I walked in, there's this merchandise stand that has all the Stanley Cup champion playoff apparel for the Pens. It's been sitting there for a week, mind you, and my wife says, I want to pick up a t-shirt for my dad that says Stanley Cup Champions. We go over to the stand. There has to be thousands of t-shirts, but guess what? There's no extra large or large sizes left.
Yeah, everybody in the Uniontown area must be looking for those same sizes, so it's it's terrible when that kind of stuff happens, because we see that often in printed apparel. Obviously, we see it with large championships like this. We see a lot of the times where clearance racks are normally one specific size of one t-shirt, and how often do you go and you see 20 smalls, but you want a large, and there's none of those available. I mean, it's a widely spread issue.
Yeah, and so I'm sure, Dick's planned for that, and I'm sure they can absorb that, and they've made their profit on what they've sold. They've sold out of those sizes, but just as a takeaway, I instantly went to to the apparel decorator, the smaller apparel decorator. It speaks to printing for events or pre-printing inventory, and I went to the value of screen printed transfers, where you can actually commit the transfer to the size and color at order, because the idea is if they would have kept their inventory in blank apparel with just some Stanley Cup champion screen printed transfers, they can commit it at the time of order. It's great, and that's a good strategy for printing at events to really mitigate your risk with pre-printed inventory.
Yeah, and event printing in general, and races and walks and all kinds of stuff is really what we're going to be talking a lot about today. There's a huge opportunity. We saw it only in the last couple events that we've experienced with large championships, but you see it more on a local level too, with a lot of different events for sports, and more particularly walks, 5Ks, 10Ks, races, things that are smaller than those large national marathons that we see, the Pittsburgh Marathon, the Boston Marathon. These are those small community organized groups that are really just making a good opportunity for decorators.
Yeah, so we hope in this episode to give you some tips to selling and finding those sorts of events, those charity walks and runs in your area, and how to capitalize on that. We also hope to show you at the end how to decorate perhaps a unique application that you've never done with a reflective transfer. But before we get there was some exciting news in June. I'm not sure if we shared with our viewers yet that Stahls TV is now collaborating with ASI, the Advertising Specialty Institute, where you can actually, on Stahls TV, through watching approved videos, get credits towards your master's or bachelor's for ASI in this decorating industry that we exist in.
Yeah, and so the ASI industry, which is great just for a lot of decorators are looking to get into the promotional product industry. So we're seeing them really come to wanting to educate decorators more and give them as much information as they can to help them be elite and grow. And so we've paired with them with Stahls TV to do that. We have 70 videos available on our site that if you're an ASI member, you can go into your profile, add that ASI member number in there, and every video you watch that has that ASI approved logo is allowed to go towards credits towards that accreditation that you're looking for. And so it's just a really cool way to mix and match the content that you're already watching.
Yeah, and so a couple things I want to hit on regarding ASI membership. So we hope to continue to build our content to help you earn credits, because we really see the value in a decorator, number one, having an ASI membership, and number two, being accredited as far as their decoration skills, their knowledge and education. That's that extra tool when you're selling out to customers in your local community, that you can show that you're an ASI approved decorator, that you have your master's or bachelor's for advertising specialties, that really positions you differently as an expert when you're selling logoed goods into this promotional products market for events or elsewhere. So that's one big thing and the reason we're doing it. And the second thing with ASI membership, it really gives you, if you've never heard of this before, it gives you access to thousands of vendors of decorated goods, and not just apparel. So whether that's writing instruments or tumblers or mouse pads or things that you don't necessarily want to decorate in-house, but you want to have the ability to sell, by having an ASI membership and paying for that, usually you can buy from any of these vendors. They do often require you have an ASI number to buy from them, so it opens you up to a tremendous vendor network instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a good opportunity for a lot of decorators. It's an exciting one for us to talk about. The ASI page, we'll show you it here on the Stahls TV website here, but just go to stahlstv.com. Under the main video, as well as on the home page, you'll find a section under training videos and video series that says ASI approved. That's the page that I'm actually here on now, and you can see those 70 videos that are available. And once you pull them up, or any video that you're watching on stahlstv.com, maybe if you just pulled it up from one of the other sections, you'll notice underneath that player page where it has the ASI logo, get your credit, and the credit value. So this is the information you'd be looking for. Once you watch that video, it automatically records and is added into, at the end of the month, each report to your specific account for ASI.
Yeah, and then it updates, and then you can also get credits in their Learning Center or going to the ASI shows. There's a lot of opportunities to get credits to work towards this. Another thing you have access to as an ASI member, and we've pulled a bit and piece of it here, is intelligence and analytics and studies that ASI regularly conducts that we try to share as much as possible here. A really cool one that just came across recently was on what types of promo products has your company purchased in the past 12 months. So real buyer intelligence that you can leverage when you're going out and positioning, selling, creating a go-to-market strategy for promotional products. So let's pull that up. We have there's an intense research done here and a lot of information. We've pulled out some of the highlights that we want to share. The first of which is what do they purchase? What promotional products has the company purchased in the past 12?
Yeah, so the first graph we're looking at here is just, such a cool thing whenever a company does this and they give you the insight. They actually went out and researched your end user, your buyer, and said, here's the information we want to provide to you. So any end user that buys promotional products in the last 12 months, we found 52% buy the t-shirt. Not surprising to me. I saw a lot of t-shirts yesterday at the US Open, and we see them at all events, whether they're walks or runs or really anything, and they're giving away usually a lot for the giveaways.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those during the NBA Finals or the big celebration in Cleveland.
I think there's going to be quite a few t-shirts out there today.
Yeah, they're giving them away to every single fan in the stand. I saw them throwing them out into the streets last night just to unite everybody around the cause. But t-shirts, no surprise, is the #1 item cited that people are buying. You'll notice in a piece of information that we saw here, if you look through this in-depth study on ASI Central, 71% give away the promo product. They don't sell it. So when you are looking to sell promotional products, budget is an important factor. And so #2 on that list was writing instruments at 51%. And it's no surprise that two sort of lower cost items between the t-shirts and maybe an ink pen or something like that leads this list, because it helps keep people within the budget while still helping them get their message out in the maximum number of people reach with a giveaway.
Right, and we're seeing a lot of other items on there that are, aside from giveaways, we see a lot of people using them for either giving them to their clients or they're giving them to their employees, and they're wanting to do more high-end items. So it's always important to understand what exactly is your customer using this promotional product for. Is it for their employees? Is it for a giveaway? And that kind of helps you designate budget and what you're going to offer them. So for employees, you're seeing a lot more outerwear, bags, more highly usable items that have just a higher durability for those products and more use, a lifelong time.
and we have a giveaway that's actually arriving here. Just a sidebar for a second, a promotional product. We have a rally towels that are coming in that say Spirit of Stahls to all of our companies around the world to help cheer on Ted Stahl and the other members of the Stahls family that have entered this event called the Great Race that's happening this week.
Yeah, and different from a 5K or a run, which we're going to talk about, the Great Race is actually a car race, running a lot of older antique models of vehicles throughout the U.S. So it's a pretty cool race. You can follow Ted and his friends and family that do this race at tedstahl.com. He updates every day of kind of how his car was doing. It's such a cool thing if they go out and do this.
Yeah, and then we get ice cream, we get pizza parties. It's a great week at Stahls for the employees, and it's part of just the energy and morale and the support that goes in to this event. It's just fun for everybody that works here. So when we look at this, whether it's this giveaway, another giveaway, whatever promotional product, another piece of information that they've asked, they just simply asked a question. I shop primarily on price when it comes to buying promotional products. And when you take the somewhat agree and the strongly agree together, 65% of the audience shops on price. Interesting.
Yeah, it goes back to a lot of people giving this away, so they need to cut their costs. They're using this for a marketing tool, but obviously don't want to spend a ton of money. So price is always going to be important.
Yeah, and I don't think it means to a decorator that you necessarily have to have a low price or not make margin. It just means the people that are buying promotional products, they have a clear budget that they have for these promotional products, for the event, or for the purpose. And so I think it's important when you're selling promotional products, whether it's to a race, a walk, whatever it might be, you want to make sure you establish and understand that budget up front, because it's going to allow you to place the customer with the best possible product and even decoration technique for what they want to accomplish.
Yeah, it's a great point. And so this study really just shares a lot of really great points. You can see it at asicentral.com. It's one of their web exclusives, but all of those details as far as what promotional product buyers really want are available there.
Okay, so we're moving right along here. So let's move right into our main topic of 5 and 10Ks and the selling opportunities into this. So number one is what can we sell? How do we sell? How do we capitalize on 5Ks or 10Ks or these sort of races and walks?
I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to capitalize on them. One that's the most common that a lot of decorators are going to be trying to go after is the T-shirt that's giving away traditionally at the event. Most 5Ks, walks, runs, the idea of them is that they're more of a community event. And so they're something that people are part of, and they're not always like fitness organized. They're not those people that are going because I want to have a high time, or a low time, I should say, and they're really going after it. But more or less, they just want to be with their group of friends, and they want to be part of the event. And so a lot of them that you're seeing now today are community-based. They're very small charity organizations, and there's just a lot of them around. And so most of them at registration give a T-shirt away. That's a traditional thing, kind of a thanks for signing up. You get the run, and you get a T-shirt to commemorate it. Mostly a basic cotton T-shirt, but that's the most common place that a lot of people start. Yeah,
so it's really, it's about fundraising, right? Whether it's or awareness, whether it's for community where they put it on, where it's the Uniontown 5K, and the money goes back to the community, or often you'll see a particular cause that's established in advance of it, where when you pay your fee basically to participate in this, whether it's part of the company you work for that's participating or as an individual, you're supporting something. And with that registration fee, it's sort of understood that a portion of that is going back to support the event. And often you do get the token, the memento of a T-shirt that's part of the experience. And as you're looking to sort of sell, to be this provider of T-shirts to this event, how are these most often decorated? How do I even think about approaching this as far as structuring an offer?
The most common decorating is obviously done with screen printing or screen printed transfers. It's traditionally the most cost-effective way to do it since it's a giveaway item. Most of them are looking for that cotton T-shirt, something standard that comes pre-printed in an inexpensive way, usually a higher quantity. A lot of people run in these races, so heat transfer vinyl embroidery doesn't seem to make sense. Screen printing always tends to be the highest there.
Yeah, I agree, because you ultimately, they typically know how many people have at least registered or how many people are going to show up. So you can sort of get that in advance by the registration date and bulk print all of them, either with direct screen printing or a screen printed transfer. Now, you always have those late registrations, right? And for our audience, which is primarily heat printers, I realize some of you screen print, but primarily heat printers, how can we separate ourselves versus the screen printers when we're selling to these events?
Well, obviously with the transfers, being able to have that opportunity to print them. If somebody comes on late, they don't have to pay all the extra fees to have them reprinted. So that's one big event or big opportunity. The other one really is on-site printing and being able to sell a different component aside from just the T-shirt that everybody is going in and bidding on.
Yeah, if it's a fundraising opportunity, an opportunity to make money, obviously you want to capitalize on every sale as the event organizer to deliver the most revenue to the event. So I do think it would be compelling to have a heat press at the event. That way you can make sure that you print on demand for the on-site registrations and don't have a lot of pre-printed inventory that's consuming all of your profit. And number two, those peripheral items, which I know we're going to print one here in about 5 minutes, those opportunities may be the higher end items where some people may want it, but it's not something that you want to give to everybody or include as part of the registration.
Right, it still allows you to hit those active, more of the high-end runners that are at these events that want maybe a tank top or a yoga pants or something that's a little bit more of a performance T-shirt, but not something that's going to be a giveaway item because it's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, so just to take away from that, when you're quoting these events and as you start to uncover this market, consider incorporating on-site printing as a way to separate yourself when you're a heat printer, because it's very easy to travel with your heat press and print on-site as compared to embroidery screen printing, whatever method it may be. When you look at that, so that gives you the upsell opportunity there is printing. You can even sell these pre-event if somebody wants to add a bag to their order, whatever it might be. When we look at decoration, one other note that I had is that we're not only talking about the front of the T-shirt. Typically everybody gets the name of the 5K or the logo of the event, but often we see a lot of sponsor logos on back. I think that is another key way as you're selling into these events to coach the event organizer, especially if they're somewhat new at it. A good way for them to generate revenue and take away the price pressure is encourage them to print a sponsor list on the back, whether that's 3 to 10 sponsor logos across the back thanks to our sponsors. And ultimately, the sponsors can buy in and fund the expense of printing the T-shirt, which will allow you to make a fair amount of profit, establish your price, and the event still can offset that cost component.
Yeah, and the amount of sponsors that usually show up at these events, there's a lot of them. A lot of other vendors, a lot of people that want to jump in and help the community. And so in addition to getting the race business, you're going to be able to make some connections there as well with other people in your industry that you may not have relationships with here. So it's kind of a great way to network at the event and be able to get some extra contacts.
Okay, so hopefully you have some ways to sell to these events, sort of how to package it, what you can sell. So now, how do we find them?
There are quite a few ways online, good old Google, but there's actually a site called active.com that people that may be active runners would go to. You can search by the city, you can search for runs and walks, and it has a variety of them in the area. I'm looking in Pittsburgh, and there's 7 pages of events coming up, so we better get busy with those 5Ks and walks in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, so it's a great way. You can get the events, you can get the name of the events, typically get a description, often on their post. Within active.com, if you click into it, they can upload images to promote their event, which often shows last year's T-shirt design on some of the walkers or runners in the event. So it's a great place just to build your prospect list. And we preach this over and over. It's all about defining a target market, which we've done, which is 5 and 10Ks. It's a very specific target. Then we ultimately create our offer, whether that's going to include event printing, a sponsor package, whatever it's going to be, create your offer, and then go out and prospect and target or run campaigns to attract people to you, whether that's through paid advertising, whatever it might be. Any other sites that you have that we can find these events at?
Runnersworld.com is another really popular one that has a lot of races and runs. You can search within a 30 or a 120-mile radius for those for your area. So if you want to go out a little bit further and expand your prospecting a little bit more, you can do so. Yeah,
local community newspapers, Chamber of Commerce, just staying engaged in the community, and I'm sure you'll know plenty of these in your area that you can ultimately go after. So with that, any questions yet coming in?
We did have a few questions. They wanted to know, what is ASI?
Advertising Specialty Institute. So basically, it's a membership group that does a lot of things in the industry with logoed products or ad specialties, promotional products. And so ASI puts on multiple trade shows a year where you can go out and source product from vendors. Stahls is one of the exhibitors there. They hold educational events and road shows around the country that are similar, where they also do teaching and education, and Stahls TV is typically a part of that. And then they also publish numerous magazines, such as Wearables Magazine. So basically, it's sort of an equivalent to like a publishing company where they publish a magazine, a trade show, and events, but it's more of a membership group that really plugs you into the world of logoed products. Is that good? Do you have anything to add to that?
No,
okay. I'm sure they have a more
nailed it.
succinct definition, but that's my take on what it is.
It just gives you more exclusive access to some things in the promotional product industry and allows you to get more in depth there.
Okay.
Do the videos count towards education credits for PPAI members as well as the ASI members?
Not at this time, to my understanding. We'll have to double check on that detail, but it's just for ASI at the moment.
And is it connected to SAGE, S-A-G-E, or not?
The two are connected, but the education credits are just for the ASI.
And then somebody else wanted to know where you would go on the website where do you go to enter the ASA number to get the credit for the videos?
Yeah, so
If you just go to stahlstv.com, once you log in, on that far right-hand corner, you'll see My Account. That allows you to update your account with any of your information, but you'll also see the ASI member number right there under your phone number. So it's right there ready for you to enter it. Just click Update, and you're all set.
okay, awesome. All right, thanks for the questions. As always, this is a live show, so if this is your first morning show, please chat in your questions. We'll have another opportunity at the end of the episode to answer those. But you want to show us how to print something?
I do, of course. We can't end the morning show without a little bit of heat printing, so I'm going to head over to the heat press here. And with this, we want to talk a little bit more about what we're selling to races and walks and different events. We talked about the t-shirt, but the ability to be able to sell more high-end items to this market, if the fitness industry or the runners or something you want to go after, the materials and the items that you can sell maybe in a merchandise store can allow you to make a lot more profit and be able to sell a lot more items. And so I want to print a higher-end item, which would just be a pair of yoga running pants with a reflective finish. One thing that we're seeing really popular right now in the fitness world is the ability for reflectives to come into the apparel, and we're going to see that in the fall, I think, really enter in a lot of different apparel, but mostly in that athleisure kind of athletic movement. The big benefit of reflectives, of course, is that it keeps the runners that are running outside in low light conditions, whether it's early morning or in the evening, visible to cars, and so it adds that little bit element of safety to it. If you're going to an event and you're planning to print on site, you can certainly take a vinyl cutter with you and easily personalize the item. So I'm just loading on this pair of yoga pants here onto my 6x20 leg platen on the Fusion. Preheat it to get some of that moisture and wrinkles out. And then I just got a lower leg print, and you can get creative for where you're printing on the legs or the part of the thigh, maybe on your pant leg. This platen specifically is 6 inches by 20 inches, and so it's actually allowing me to personalize this full area, but I could do the entire leg if I wanted to in 2 steps, or that thigh print. This product is the 3M Scotch-Lite Reflective. It's got an easy application at 10 seconds here at 320 degrees. And the nice thing about this specific material is it's got a sticky backing, and it's really incredibly easy to use for a reflective heat transfer. So I'll peel back this carrier hot. We've got an easy personalized pant. So if you're thinking about printing on site at events, this is one way to do it with maybe a vinyl cutter and offering some unique items. You also have a chance to be able to print more items, more like tank tops, or use screen printed transfers to print very quickly for a variety of items, maybe some performance wear, but this gave a great print to the bottom of that pant leg there.
Yeah, it's a tremendous opportunity. As you mentioned, the Fusion press just gives you that versatility and the idea that you can quick change it. If I'm at an event and I'm printing t-shirts and all of a sudden I have a customer come up and they want a pair of yoga pants or shorts or a polo shirt that would require a smaller platen, it's a quick change out and you're rocking and rolling. That's why we always promote the quick change platens, especially if you're doing on-site printing. That's important.
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
All right, so we are approaching the 25-minute mark. Are there any additional questions coming in at this point, Taylor? All right. I think we're good to go. Anybody that had a question that they asked that we didn't get the answer, we'll make sure we respond back to you after today's morning show. And next week, we have something really special happening, right?
We do. We finally have hit our 50th episode of the Stahls TV Morning Show, so we're excited. And we're going to have a pretty special episode for you guys as well that tune in and share some of our favorite moments and a lot of fun.
Yeah, so please join us next week on the morning show, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. And as always, thanks for watching Stahls TV.
See you next week.